Hello, I'm Chris Colburn. I'm going to be very briefly talking, well, I don't know if I'm going to be brief actually, talking about some of my thoughts about whether technology in the modern age, the contemporary age, is a hindrance, or basically I want to talk about, is technology going to save us? Is it our saviour, or is it our destructor? And is it even worth thinking in those very arbitrary kind of fixed ways about technology, or is it more complicated and more grey essentially than that? So what is technology? Anything that uses the forces of nature or is a product of the human ingenuity and mind and helps improve our quality of life, or just adds an additional layer to reality, I guess, simply speaking. So this could be anything from going back many thousands of years, I guess, tool making, up to the present day age where we've got computing devices, modern technologies, modern engineering, oil rigs, whatever else, mobile phones, smartphones, and more recently, obviously, the iPad, the whole thing of the iPad, the Oculus Rift, virtual reality softwares, whatever else, like. So, I think the real struggle that humanity is going to face in the coming decades is, we are a technological society now, for sure. I mean, I'm obsessed with technology. I think most people I know are obsessed with it, but hopefully I've got a healthy obsession with technology, because I like tinkering with technology, and I like using technology in a kind of creative way, and also, but then I don't, though I probably am slightly addicted to Facebook and Twitter and all those other things, I try and maintain a healthy boundaries between using the technology rather than technology using me, if you understand what I mean, because it can also go on addictive routes, I guess. But yeah, so in the coming decades, I think the real struggle humanity has to deal with in a technological basis and is, firstly, there's a problem of energy. So I think it's very important that as a human race, we concentrate on finding new forms of energy, because the old forms of energy which we previously relied on, such as oil, coal, whatever you want to say, these are not infinite, or not infinite, they're not, there's a limited supply of them. So I believe that if we're going to make it into the next century, well, not the next century, if we're going to make it into the next millennium, what we have to do is develop new technologies. But what was the point I was making before? Is technology going to save us, or is technology going to potentially eradicate us, whatever else? Obviously, both potentials are very possible. Obviously, with technology, we've developed bombs, weapons, nuclear weapons, all the bad shit, chemical weapons, all the rest of it. We've also developed, penicillin, medicine, various, medical institutions, technologies, car, transport units, which kind of eradicate the limitations of time and space. Well, not eradicate, that's the wrong word to use. They make those things less important. I personally think, I should go on to my own thoughts during this. Is it going to eradicate us? Is it going to eradicate us, or are we going to be saved by it? I think all of this hangs on our attitude and how we develop that symbiotic relationship with technology. I'm using technology now to put this message out. I don't know how many people are going to listen to it. Probably about 5 people in, I don't know, like America, some stoners or something like that. Like some, I don't know, like geeks or whatever. But like, if we're ever going to, so what should we desire? I mean, we should desire to develop that symbiotic relationship with technology so that it becomes our liberator from the shackles of the negative sides of life, basically. I mean, that's what all the best technology has ever done. Medical technology has always saved, helped people live longer, saved us, which obviously comes with its own set of problems, but there you go. And then the negative side has been like you've had the military industrial complex taking on technologies, basically making it into more effective ways of killing each other, which never really seems like a great idea. Obviously in World War II it was slightly a different situation, I guess. We had a war of attrition going on with the Germans, I guess, which is hence why the nuclear bomb was ultimately developed, which thankfully we're not really living under the shadow of as much, though it still asserts, the shadow's still there for of these weapons of mass destruction, but not to the same degree. So yeah, what was I saying? I think to develop that symbiosis for technology, we have to view technology as the way the ancients used it. So how do the ancients use their tools? They would have seen it as an extension of their ability to adapt and survive in their environment. So I think we need to make the world a better place, because at the end of the day, we are the universe. I mean, this is I'm going further into my belief system now, but which there is to a degree. I have a belief system which is the pantheistic model of the universe, Spinozian kind of philosophy. Spinoza came up with this idea that nature is the only true God, really, which is a complete paraphrase and simplification of his ideas, but I really haven't got enough time to go into all of them at the minute, and I don't really feel I fully understand them. I mean, it's also a romantic position as well. So the Romantics had one of the tenets of their beliefs was that nature is preferable to the developed civilizations that we developed up to the point that we're up to in whatever it was, the 18th century or whatever. No, I don't go that far. I think the world we live in is very positive. It's the world I've grown up, the only world I've ever known, because it's the only world I've ever grown up in. So I love technology. I mean, I've got a degree in computer science, so how could I not have an interest in technology? I think what we've got to do now, as a human being, as a human race, not a human being, I'm a human being, individual, as a human race, is we have to actually start massing together and being guided by the principles of, I guess actually all this if we're going to use technology in the right way, basically we have to change society. Is what I guess I'm finally coming to the conclusion of. But then that can't be a top-down change of society, because that just always ends up in a bad way. So I think we need to change our consciousness to a greater or lesser degree. We need to cultivate a meaningful compassion for each other. I think the military-industrial complex, no doubt, has to be kind of I was going to say destroyed, but I don't mean it in that sense. I mean it in the sense of it needs to be deconstructed. That's the word I'm looking for. We have to somehow, as a human being, a race, we have to deconstruct the military-industrial complex, because ultimately most wars have been over resources, land. Basically, people have used religion as an excuse for doing a lot of things. They've used ideology as an excuse to invade each other's land and cause ultimately death and destruction in each other. And I think no doubt that has to finish and needs to end. But that's all propped up by the military-industrial complex, obviously, because parts of economies, rely on these weapons manufacturers sending out weapons to places. And I mean, we need to change as a human race and all over in our consciousness towards, it's a very simple philosophy, but what I do to you, I do to myself. It's even it's a Christian morality, I guess, that. But I don't have I'm not a Christian, but I don't have any problem with mining Christianity and admiring certain aspects of that philosophy, because if you don't, I think you become a lesser person in many respects. I don't believe in this whole thing of selfishness. Pure selfishness doesn't get us anywhere. So what was I asking? Will technology save us, or will technology destroy us? The answer is, it's up to you, as in humankind, as always. So yeah, just humanity, evolve your brains, evolve your minds, love each other, and evolve your consciousness, I guess. Stop hating each other, and then technology will really help us. I mean, I could probably do another video about all the complications that come with some advanced technologies like nanotechnology and life extension technologies and such, but that's a video for another day. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video there. So will technology save us? Obviously down to humanity, down to developing compassion and using our brains, these wonderful gifts that we're given from the elements of the sun that we come from. Use these wonderful muscles, which a lot of people don't use enough, to construct a better world.